I'm sure at least 30 items have moved.
I got to stop looking because some guy named Phil Lapp put on a milling machine on there and a lathe that I'd really like to have.
Well, you're too late, my friend, because they're both gone.
Oh, good.
Really? You gotta let me know.
What's that?
You gotta let me know, Phil, because as soon as they sell, I'll take them off.
I did try. At least I thought I did. You know, I went on the computer and I took my hand and I went like this. And I said, "Take this off." I don't know what happened to it. You know.
You didn't say abracadabra.
So what sold?
The lathe. Well, I got money in hand on the lathe, and I've got a promise on the milling machine.
Okay.
So he had to just do some finance magic.
Okay.
But I've got a great compressor that's sitting in my basement, unused, looking for a home. And I've got a Woodmaster wood planer that I haven't used probably 100 board feet of wood run through it. So if anybody that wants those two things, they're just more than welcome to come and take a look.
I'd be interested in the air. I'd be interested in the air compressor, but John came over to pick something up that he bought, and I put him to work to fix my air compressor. And he did a great job, and it works good now. So,
not too bad. I'm sorry.
Need one.
It was an easy fix, actually. The biggest thing was realizing that you have to set that pressure switch. It doesn't come set.
Oh.
Anything is easy if you know what you're doing.
So would it just run forever or wouldn't run at all?
It wouldn't shut off. It would lift the relief valve.
Ah, okay.
We got all the leak. I got the main leak stopped, and then Roger got the rest of the leak stopped.
But it's like anything else. It's easy if you know what you're doing, and John knows what he's doing. So many thanks.
Well, I can fix anything or break it so bad you have to buy a new one.
I'm usually in that latter category.
I'll either fix it or you need a new one.
Okay.
So did anybody turn anything fun over the holidays?
I think we have a pretty long show and tell, don't we, Bill?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Long show and tell, and even the challenges too. You're gonna have to bear with me though, because just a couple days ago, my right shift, option, and control buttons just decided to stop working. So.
John can fix it.
I can. I got a hammer.
Yeah.
I do have some.
That's what a second keyboard's good for.
Yeah, yeah. I have one of those. But
Well, if you get to the point when nobody else can fix it, call me. I'll laugh.
yeah, I've got an appointment tomorrow at the Genius Bar, so we'll see.
I didn't turn much, but I did replace the extension table on my table saw and put a router lift in it.
That's handy.
Yeah, mine was electrical. I ended up putting a manual cutover switch in for the generator in here.
I built a stand and ran some electrical for a CNC machine coming in a couple of weeks.
Oh, what kind of CNC machine?
Nice.
A Laguna IQ, the
Nice.
2 by 3 foot.
What size table?
2 by 3.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a CNC router?
Yeah.
CNC router?
Yeah.
What's that running these days?
About $7 grand.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. I'd love to do it, but 7 is a little out of my reach.
Well, there are plenty of the hobbyist level machines that are quite a bit less than that. This one's kind of in between hobbyist level and semi-industrial.
Look at Grizzly.
Now
That was one that was on my list.
I've got a small one that now they're about $1,000 that does it does about a 12 by 12 item, and comes with the software VCarve, and it's pretty cool. I used it to make a clock.
Is that a router or a laser engraver?
No, it's a router. I'm gonna,
Yeah, Laguna's been showing a lot of videos of people doing basically mirrored and then putting it in and turning it into a an inlay where they cut and then
yeah. So if you guys should be able to see the clock here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I use my lathe to make it round. I use my lathe to make the inserts for the panels here. I use the CNC machine to cut the numbers, and also I use my planer. So I use about $10,000 worth of machines to make this clock.
And on the lower right there, that's the compressor that had to be fixed.
Yeah, right down here.
Yeah. So then did you paint after you routed the numbers out? Did you paint and then sand it off?
No, actually I do it chemically with Ebonizer. So what I do before you run the router, you coat the wood with shellac, heavy coat of shellac, and then you cut the numbers and cut the words, and then you put in the solution to turn it black. And
I was gonna say, did you pre-treat with tea to get the tannin up?
yeah,
Or is that just,
it's a two-part solution. That you put the tea on first, let it soak into the fiber, and then put in the Ebonizer stuff, and it turns real black. And the shellac keeps the rest of the wood protected. And you need a heavy coat of shellac. So if you put a light coat of shellac in, you'll get bleed out through the wood fibers. But,
my question is what keeps the Ebonizer from fading over time?
fading over time?
Yeah.
I mean, it soaks into the wood fibers, and I don't know. Maybe if it's out in the sun, it may fade, but most of the inside.
Because I ebonized some white oak last year, and it's faded over the last year.
Huh.
Speaking of CNC machines, if anybody's interested in a small 12 by 24 inch table, 1/4 inch spindle, we've used it in the sign shop, but we upgraded. So it's a good machine, comes with all the software and everything like that. Let me know, you might be interested in picking it for a hobbyist or somebody, a small sign shop. It's a great machine.
Would it do to make the badges for the club?
Yeah. Yeah. As a matter of fact, when we do print it, we print the badges now, but we used to engrave them on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can engrave anything, 12 by 24.
That's a reasonable size for a hobbyist.
Yeah, it is.
What kind of price range are you putting on that?
I don't know.
But the nice thing about VCarve is the software
$2,000.
comes with most of the
If you
machines. You can break it into segments. So if you have I have a 12 by 12, I made a 12 by 36 sign, and the software just cuts it into 3 parts, and it works good. So
Now, we also, now, this is not commercial time, but we also have a vinyl plotter that for sale, for which we practically give away.
What's a vinyl plotter?
Huh?
What's a vinyl plotter?
90% of the signs that you see on vehicles and everything else, it cuts vinyl. It's a printer, and it cuts the vinyl, and then you weed away the excess and then apply the image onto whatever substrate you're using. So it's just a printer, really, but it's a plotter.
Oh, okay.
It's a wide carriage printer, if you want to think of it that way.
I'm sorry?
Wide carriage printer type of thing,
Yeah.
where you scroll
Yeah.
through it.
Yes.
Cool.
The reason that the steel wool vinegar ebonizer doesn't fade is that you're producing a pigment, not a dye. Right? The pigment is a solid particle, and the color it is the color it is. Whereas if you produce a dye, which some of the ebonizing processes do, that will fade in the sun.
Okay, cool. Learn all kinds of stuff here, Dave.
That's
Mike,
that's the reason I show up. I learn stuff every time I show up.
Good.
Mike, was it you that said you have a spray bottle of varnish or shellac?
Shellac.
Shellac.
1
Where
pound.
do you
cup.
get shellac from? I was in Rockler today and I didn't see any.
Yeah, well, welcome to my world. The
No, I
shellac
was
is
gonna say
very
you
hard
can
to
get,
come
you can
by
get flakes,
these
but
days.
if you're just looking for dewax shellac, it's called
Yeah,
seal
clear coat. Yeah. Yeah, the Zinsser Bullseye is 3 pound cut of wax shellac, which is what I use. You can get it, Lowe's has it.
I was gonna say the seal coat's 2 pound.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Dewaxed. So if you want to do it, it's just a 1-to-1 cut
Right.
between what's there and what you put in your spray bottle.
Or 1 to 2 if you get the 3 pound cut. Yeah.
Do you let the 3 pound settle out if you don't want the wax, or you go ahead and leave the
I,
wax?
actually, I want the wax in it because the wax makes the shellac harden in a more durable configuration. So, but it doesn't penetrate as fast. That's why the seal coat is de-waxed, because it will drag the shellac into the wood a little more quickly. If you cut that in half, it'll penetrate pretty fast.
Yeah. Well, it dries real quick.
Oh yeah.
Is there a shortage of shellac? Is that what you were leading up to?
Yeah, there
Mike?
is. It's you know, I'm going through tens of gallons a week. So I just got 50 gallons from Lowe's the other day, and you know, they're routinely trying to order in 75 gallons a month for me, and they can't get it from their supplier.
What are
So
you going
yeah,
through so fast? Is this making your stuff?
yeah.
I'm
Okay,
out, by the
guys,
way.
it's 7:03. So
I was gonna say I need some more bull wax.
Woodcraft will have plenty. Not to
Yeah,
worry.
well, I was
Yeah.
thinking of possibly buying a gallon of it.
okay, well, welcome everyone. So we have a good showing here tonight. Let me just go down the agenda. So we had a board meeting end of December and took a look at what we're going to do in 2021. Basically, you know, obviously, like everyone else, we're just waiting to see what's going to happen with the virus restrictions and things. And I think your guys' guess is as good as ours, but I think for at least the first half, we're going to be doing everything remotely. And maybe hopefully this summer things will open up where we can get back together again. But all that's sort of wait and see. The other thing I have a little bit further down on the agenda, but one thing I want everyone to think about is a community service project that we could possibly work on this year. Something on the order of the Beads of Courage project that we just finished last year. I sent all that into AAW, and they're looking to publishing that article in the April issue of the AAW magazine, and possibly a shorter version of it in their newsletter that comes out by email. So got really good feedback on that. So if anyone has any ideas for a community service project coming up, just let us know. Do we have any new members logging in tonight? Ed, I know you're somewhat new. Ed Swankin joined us from the Guild.
Yeah, been lurking in the background for a long time. Decided it was time to join.
Ed's also a CNC guy, so he's got a lot of CNC knowledge there. So John, anything AAW update for us? You're muted, John. John, you're muted.
There's a lot of programs coming up in January. The WIT Present has a meeting, and then the Masters program has Betty Scarpino.
Oh, yeah.
23rd.
And yeah, in January, and then on the 30th, Emiliano Archival is doing a demonstration in Spanish.
Yeah. Fun.
Trying to get the Turners Without Borders program up and going. That's the big immediate thing, and then we're still trying to figure out what's going to happen with the symposium.
So you think there is a possibility it'll be a real one?
I think there's a possibility. I don't know about the probability.
Okay.
It's like everything else, you know, the demographic of the symposium is high risk. Most of the people there are going to be at the higher risk. So unless the vaccination is out and effective, it's hard to say. And whether or not the venue will allow it, and they won't make a decision right away.
Yeah.
So like everything else in the world, it's on hold. Well, we're still planning it, but whether it's actually going to happen or not, I flip a coin. Don't know.
Yeah. With any luck, we'll be spared a trip to Omaha.
Yeah, Omaha's not on my list.
Nebraska.
Yeah, Omaha's never been on my list of places to go visit.
I was born there. That's enough for me. I've done my duty to Omaha.
You've been there, done that, huh?
Yeah, got the shirt, everything.
Good place to be from, far from.
Good place to be from. Yeah.
Good. Okay, thanks, John. So Bill, you want to dive into show and tell?
I sure do. Hold on. Again, bear with me. Share screen. And I even made a little title card for it. Look at that. Whoa. So I guess we'll start with the piercing ones. And I think Roger's going to go ahead and win this one, only because he's the only one that got me piercings. Roger, you want to talk about this one?
There's categories.
The wood turners.
Yeah. Let me use somebody here.
Include using a protractor on the putting green.
So basically, what I'm trying to do is work on turning thin and then piercing it, and also dyeing things. So what I did is I started with a spear. I cut the spear in half and then hollowed out each side of the spear. And these are down to about 2 millimeter or so. And then just put in some designs. This is dyed with a teal dye, and just sort of made up some pictures here. And then similar thing here. This one is dyed magenta, and the piercing is, you can see all the different piercing here. I'm just trying different things that we learned from Kathleen. So these are the spears. And one thing, if anyone's ever done these, doing things that in random, it's hard to be random. But this is the first one I worked on, which is just a bowl that is turned real thin and then cut out with an NS, one of the high-speed NSK rotary tools. So that's it. That's for me.
That's it. That's the piercings. Oops, sorry. Okay, and this is the ornaments, and I didn't know if I was a little confused about the January challenge, whether it was Christmas ornaments or Christmas presents. So maybe we'll have a little bit of presents. But this one, the first one is from Kim. Kim, are you on?
Yes, she's muted though.
Yep. Okay, now I'm here.
Yeah.
I'd never done ornaments before. And I saw this online with the inside out ones. So tried it. So turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
Good.
Was it fun?
You know, it actually is. It just takes a square of wood and then you cut it in 4 even squares, and then you turn them all inside out. You just lay basically a dent in it, and then you turn them all back around and then lay whatever ornament you want. So they're actually pretty darned easy to do.
Do you do the top and bottom parts, the finial sort of parts, after you've turned them around?
Yes. And so okay, when you have it on the inside, so you've cut it in 4 and put them together, and then you actually kind of mark it so all your grains will end up back the same way. So it so your seams are marked less or show up less. But then when you do the 4 of them together, all you do is just do one little dip out that's going to be the inside. And then you take them apart and then put them back the way that they normally would come on the tree, and glue them together then, and then lay whatever you have right there. So it's all like the finials aren't separate. These, I mean, you could do finials separate, but these are just part of the original block of wood.
Cool. It's really great. Thanks, Kim. Yeah. This is another one from Kim.
So I had just a little little piece of burl left over. So I did it as a mushroom. The whole thing is only like 4 inches tall. It looks bigger than it is there.
Is that 2 pieces or 1 piece?
So it's 2 pieces. And the bottom piece was actually a piece that I shouldn't have done anything with. I started and it broke all apart and everything. So I CA glued it and thought, oh, for a mushroom, it can be odd. And so it worked. Yeah. So, but it's 2 separate pieces.
Very cool. Thanks, Kim. Oh, Jason, man, you've got some awesome things here. You want to talk these through?
Yeah, so I saw a couple of these gnomes from a few different people and thought they would be a fun thing to do for Christmas. So I ended up making a few, and some people got excited about them. So I ended up making probably over 20 of them, along with a bunch of trees and snowmen and all kinds of stuff that is almost all gone now. I've just got a couple gnomes left. But they were a lot of fun. And so most of the wood is actually box elder, and then all the hats are all different types of wood.
What did you use for the hair?
Faux fur. I just went to Joann's, and you can get it from you can either buy small packs in the craft section, or you can get a 3-inch strip off of the bolts of cloth and at the counter.
And I thought all your friends were now bald.
I really, Jason, I really liked what you did with how you did the bottom of the Christmas trees as well. The trees, just leaving it as the bark on there. That's a really great idea. Just gives it much more character. And your snowmen are awesome too.
Yeah, I had one coworker who basically bought all the trees. She ordered the snowman special, and as well as several gnomes.
Wow.
What do you use for the gnome nose?
I just turned a piece of wood. It's basically a little button with a little stem on it, so it could just drill a hole into the body and just glue that nose right in there. Just nick a little hole in the cloth backing on the faux fur, and nose goes right through it.
Very cute.
Very awesome. And then you did some bandsaw animals, which are awesome. How in the world did you do those?
So Alex Snodgrass is definitely well known for his reindeer. And so I always kind of wanted to try making one of those. And I got to looking around, and I found several other bandsaw critters. And so I made quite a few of the reindeer, and I just made 1 or 2 of each of the other things. Looking forward to getting back to that when I have more time.
Did you make
I
them as
spend a
fast as he
lot
could?
more time finishing than I do cutting.
Did you make the reindeers as fast as he could?
No, not even close. I feel like my reindeer was a little bit more intricate than his.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, it does.
What size blade were you using on your bandsaw for that?
I think it was 3/16. So you can turn a fairly tight corner with that.
Yeah. Very cool. Those are great. Those are wonderful. Thanks for sharing with those. The next stuff, so this is maybe the Christmas presents part, but this is Mike Porter. Mike, are you on? He sent in a lot of really great candle holders, candlesticks, all sorts of different woods and different designs. And I'll just kind of go through them real quick. Just great. He's back at the lathe, and he's just producing a lot of stuff, which is great. He filled that with a little bit of copper, it looks like, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's it. Just nice shapes, nice beads and coves. And then Kevin, you've got some stuff up here as well.
Yeah, this one's both ornaments and gifts, so I guess it covers both bases because I wasn't sure either. But this was my first time making ornaments, my first time making finials too, so I had a lot of fun with that and definitely want to do more. But I was pretty starved for a bowl by New Year's because I hadn't done anything that wasn't spindle orientation on my lathe for almost a month. The 4 maple globes, these are all just hollow globe with finials, but the 4 maple ones is all one of the blanks from you guys that I just cut up into and made the globes out of it. So it's a smaller one, but it was a lot of fun. The middle one is some willow that I have that I used for the globe on that, a little chunk of willow. And I just really love that wood. When you polish it up, it looks like mother of pearl.
What's the size on the globes?
Maybe between 1.5 and 2 inches.
Yeah, that's what I was
when
gonna
they're
say.
1 3/4.
Yeah.
You said they're hollow?
Yeah, I hollowed them out. Not like, they're not like finely hollowed. It's not an even wall thickness or anything. It's pretty much just kind of hogged out to get them lighter. The willow one was kind of a pain because I have a little. I'm sorry, what?
Did you make your own tool to hollow it, or do you have something that would fit in that hole?
I have a little from Simple. What is it? Simple Wood Tools. It's like a little Hunter carbide style on a stick, basically, and I just use that. The willow was a big pain because it's real stringy, and I had to keep cleaning the thing out. The little cup cutter, would fill up as soon as it hit the wood. But it worked out pretty well. It worked really good with the maple.
Very nice.
Yeah, nice.
Dave,
Yours were a lot fancier than mine. I was following sort of Kim's footsteps. These are inside out Christmas ornaments, but I added a little thing and I put a ball inside the cavity. Yeah, and gave them a puzzle of trying to figure out how I got it in there. This is all red oak.
Nice. Very nice. Oh, and then I think last but not least, Phil Lapp. This is a great one. We've got a little surprise at the end as well. I'll play a little movie. Phil, are you on?
Yeah, you're muted, Phil. Yeah, can you unmute yourself?
Oh, the history. We got COVID and forest fires and
Yeah, here, let me, I'm going to share a movie with you. Let's see, where is it? Hold on a second, sorry. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but it's just on my desktop. Wait.
we see your desktop.
Hold on a second. Trying to find the movie. What did I do with the movie? Here it is. Okay, here we go. Just bear with me 1 second.
So you can talk it.
Here we go.
Phil, you're unmuted.
This is Phil's movie he sent me too. So can you guys see this?
Yep.
Little tags that you can't read them on here, but have forest fires, pandemic, politics, riots, all of the good things that have happened in 2020.
Including a mask.
I'm sorry?
Including the mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the bottom is supposed to represent forest fires.
I don't see murder hornets.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
That's cool.
Very
Yeah.
Very cool.
Things to remember 10 years from now.
Yeah, I think we have lots to remember 10 years from now. Cool.
Okay.
Bill, would you
Yes.
go back to the single image? Go back to
Sure.
the
The still image.
Okay. After I did the original, then I realized there was one thing missing on it, and that was the star on the above. God is still in control.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Nice.
Thanks, Phil.
Very, very nice, Phil. Okay, that does it for the challenges. And now, you guys see the show and tell?
Sure.
Yeah.
We're going to try to get through this. There's quite a few, so we'll just go at the same pace and we should get through it. First up, Tom Willing with a few pens. Tom, are you there? All sorts of different woods. I
Yeah, you're
don't even
muted,
know if I
Tom.
could.
He was here.
Yeah, I saw him.
Curly, I see one of them is curly maple and walnut.
There I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Tom.
I had a seasonal client who calls me up every year and says, "What do you got going this year?" I've done pepper grinders, I did tops, and so everything every year is something different. And this year she said she wanted pens, so I made a run of pens.
Nice.
These three are ebony. This one is cocobolo. This is another cocobolo. This one is pink ivory, I think. This one is a piece of burl. Left, went away. If it comes back, I'll grab it. This one was an African one, and I can't remember it either. But anyway, it was fun. I made about, I think I made 16 this year, and they're all gone. So the folks like them. It's nice.
Good. Thanks.
So
very, very cool. Thanks for sharing, Tom.
Yeah.
Those are great.
Thanks for putting them up.
Oh, no problem. Roger, you are up again.
So I'm trying to do things that I haven't done before. So this started out as a platter with a bowl in the middle, and then I colored it. And the yellow is actually a wax. And then
wax.
It's a wax that hardens. And I just use the indexer on the lathe to mark out the lines, and then use the corner of a big jar for the road, for the curves. And so it's fun.
Very cool.
And these were two Christmas presents. They're just kitchen holders. This is the wood from our wood sale. I laminated 3 different pieces together and hollowed it out. And another similar type piece.
They're nice colors put together too.
What's the third color? I recognize the walnut and the maple. What's the third one?
Actually, the bottom one is maple, walnut, and the top one is silver maple.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Very cool. And then these, I didn't know what these were until I read your email. I was looking at things going, what in the world would you use those for? I knew they were going to be kitchen
rack
tools.
puller.
Yeah, oven pulled. So they're just Christmas presents that my wife handed out with cookies that she makes to the neighbors and stuff. So not a turning project, but a bandsaw project.
Yes, you push with the nose and you pull with the, okay.
Yeah, I see it now.
And the hook and the hole for someplace to hang it.
Yeah.
Nice. Very, very cool, Roger.
Good idea.
Let's see. Next. Roger, you're up again.
4-inch spear. It was a gorgeous piece of spalted maple. And I made a spear out of it.
Very cool.
It's about a 4-inch spear.
We were out about
so this
one
was
Roger?
Yeah, it was a busy. It's also laminated with 3 different pieces, but I hollowed it out, and the butterfly is a decal, a black and white decal that I for individual colors. I just cut out cut out where the colors are, and then did it with dye. No, I used some kind of paint. Now I can't even remember. We took a class from Andy Wolf. Larry and I took a class, and in there she introduced us to different
Acrylics.
Yeah, And so I used the different colors for that, and turned out pretty good. I also hollowed it out, and the top is actually turned on. So it's threaded, and not quite great threaded, but it is threaded. That's it.
Very cool. And I think I may have put this in from last year. I got very confused with, there were so many emails and texts running all around. So, but I think you have this from the previous challenge, which was the barrel.
Yeah,
but I just wanted to show it again. That's very cool.
Roger needs another club to be president of. He's got too much time to turn.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
I don't remember sending you this one, but this is, again, I was trying to practice on doing different things, and this is, the panels are carved out. The black is pyrography of different types, and the gold is gold paint.
You are trying a lot of different things.
It's not a great piece, but maybe the next one will look better.
Yeah. Hey, Mark McNamara, are you there? Thanks, Roger, for all of those. Those are great.
Yeah, hey, I'm
Mark,
here.
awesome.
I sent in a couple of pictures. I wanted to highlight pieces that I've done with wood that I got at wood cutting parties through the club. I really appreciate this club, and I've been out on a couple of those outings, and they've been, especially during the pandemic, a great way to connect with you all, IRL. So this is magnolia wood. I think this cutting party was back in May sometime up in North Portland. And as you can see, unfortunately, the bowl split during the drying process. I almost didn't turn this piece, but I decided to give it a go. And I'd seen other people do like lacing, drilling holes and lacing up that crack. And I really liked the aesthetic. And so I went ahead and did this, and ended up selling this piece to a friend of mine who gave it to his mom on her 75th birthday. And said it was a really meaningful gift for her. So that made me feel really great.
That's great.
Was it cracked before or after you turned it?
It was cracked during the drying process. So I did turn it finish turn it while it was cracked.
Okay.
Interesting.
This is a beautiful piece of wood.
Yeah, this was from in October. A bunch of us went over to Southeast Portland and got some of this apple wood, and it's had tons of spalting. I'm still waiting for my bigger bowls to dry, but I couldn't wait to finish a piece, so I just, thin turned this simple plate and let it warp on its own, and then flattened out the bottom. And yeah, I just love the figure and the contrast between the heartwood and the sapwood and the spalting. Just really nice.
Very cool, Mark. Thanks for sharing. Okay, up next, Larry, you've sent me a couple shots here.
Yeah, this
all different things.
This was a cherry burl that I was given, and I wanted to turn it, and it was a little on the wet side, and so I'd never microwaved anything before, and I stuck it in the microwave and then let it sit overnight, and it really did some kind of unique shrinking. So it ended up with some great, it started out smooth, and then it ended up with some really cool textures because of the way it shrank. So just kind of a accidental, piece.
Very cool.
And this was a piece of ambrosia maple. Just turned it. It came out pretty well. It's smooth as silk. It's one of the better turning jobs I've done. Maybe someday I'll get really good at this.
Really love the figure in that.
Looks like you painted a scene from the moon or something.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, but that's all nature.
It's a great
That's so
shape.
cool.
Little hat. Yeah, it's good.
I always try to do something a little different. You know, sometimes the shapes I come up with aren't real wonderful, but try to do something different.
Yeah. This was cool too.
This was another cherry burl that I decided to try to do a little winged piece. There are 11 fissures that go all the way through. The wall is about the wall of the piece is about 3/16 of an inch, and if you were to stick a light down inside, it shines through every one of those fissures.
Wow. I like the detail, the attention to detail on the bottom as well, Larry.
Thanks.
That looks like a Wagner tool.
That one was, yes.
Yeah, very cool stuff. That's beautiful. Were you worried that it was going to crack apart?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, the piece I put on the lathe after this ended up in all four corners of the shop.
Attention to the bottom of a piece was one of Bob Tuck's big points. He says, you know, someone picks it up and they look at it and they see that you took time to do something with the bottom, which you didn't have to, you know.
Well, and I've sold a number of pieces that, you know, that are done somewhat similar to that. And the comments I get back from customers are, they really like that detail. They don't comment on anything else on the piece other than the bottom detail.
Yeah, it's, you know, as Bob says, it shows that you cared enough to actually finish the piece.
Yeah.
Do the.
It's also interesting. It's also like a little gem, like a little surprise that the owner finds when they turn it over. Like that's not apparent out, you know, to the public, but they turn it over and it's like a very intimate thing, I think.
It's like Cindy Drose's little jewel inside of her boxes.
Oh yeah.
You know, she put a little earring in the top of the bottom of the finial.
So Larry,
how you get that sparkle?
That one, the last one there that showed the bottom. How did you hold on to it to do the bottom?
Well, it was still on in the chuck. I was just doing the bottom, and it was still in chuck from the top, from the other side, and so then once I did the detail, then I turned it around and chucked it up and hollowed it.
So that you use this with an expanding chuck, and then
Correct.
the bowl. Oh, I got
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. Thanks, Larry.
Thanks.
Kevin, you're back up again.
Roger and Larry are trying to do things different. I'm still trying to nail the basics. So this is my second hollow for him, and I'm pretty happy with it. I think I like holding this one in my hands. I think it came out pretty good. But this is a piece of faulted birch that I've had for a while. It was actually like my first free wood haul when I got into this. So it cracked on me as soon as I hollowed the top. The rest of it wasn't even hollowed out yet. So I quickly drilled those holes and stitched it up with some copper wire that I had. I really liked the leather that Mark used on his. I might do that next time. Yeah. But it held it together, and it actually closed up a little bit as it dried. So it worked out pretty good.
That's a nice looking suture line.
Yeah.
Sign him up for surgery.
Very nice.
I was going to cross them at first, and the wire was just a little too thick, and it would have been up too high. So I decided to do like a straight lace pattern, and I like it. Came out pretty good. So thank you.
Very cool. And then I also have this.
Oh yeah, this was part of what I wasn't sure if the other thing was gifts or ornaments or whatever. So this is a pepper mill that I made for my my father-in-law, and it's out of a piece of walnut that I got from the Cascade auction. So it turned out to be a really nice piece of wood. I didn't capture it all in this photo, and unfortunately I didn't get it in to take any good photos of it before I gave it away.
What did you finish it with?
Oh, that's actually which one did I use on that? I've been using some of Mike's stuff. I think that's the Pens Plus
Yeah, that's a good finish for peppermint.
Friction polish and then buffed up with the wax wheel on my Beal.
Yeah. Yeah. Very nice, Kevin.
Thanks. And then this one is mine too. This is just it's like an 8-inch bowl. This is alder that I got from Al Stickle. He was giving away back in November. And it's pretty wormy. There are a couple of live termites in this one. Got them out of the way, and this was left behind. I really thought it was a beautiful piece of wood too.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Thanks.
Good figure. Jim Shuffle, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
You get to show the steps that you, or the before and after on this.
Yeah, this is the blank I started with. It's about 2 inches square and about, the blank was 7.5 so tall. And the challenge, of course, was that the slope of all of the burl part there, the surface of the burl, makes it challenging to mount it on the lathe. So
I would imagine.
I ended up clamping it to a drill press and drilling a 1-inch Forstner bit down through the burl just far enough that I'd get a good bite with my drive center. And then I put it on the lathe and shaped it round, put a thingy on the bottom so I could grip with my chuck, and then turn it around and turn it around, mounted it in the chuck, and then proceeded to shape the outside, and then to hollow it out, I just bored it out with an 1.25 inch Forstner bit, and it worked pretty well.
Yeah, the profiles are great on that.
I'm pleased with the way it looks, and I finished it with white bond poly. In final dimension was it's about 2 inches diameter, about 6 inches tall.
Very cool.
It's maple burl.
Yeah, very nice, Jim. Thanks for sharing.
You bet.
Okay, Jason, you're back up again. This is awesome.
This is cool.
So I've got 3 little boys who have all been into Legos, and I saw someone make one of these not long ago on YouTube, and so I knew it was something that I needed to do. So the head and all the posts I turned on the lathe. Everything else was bandsaw work and a lot of sanding. But he's about 16 inches tall, and I said I would never build another one again, and I've already got orders for 3 of them. So I guess that's going to be the thing to do now for me.
I could see why. Yeah.
How did you deal with the joints?
I bought some pretty good sized rare earth magnets. So it all comes apart and goes back together and twists and turns.
Wow.
It was tricky turning the dowels just the right size so that there would be a little bit of friction to help hold it steady, but also be able to move.
Very nice.
Clever.
I plan to use the CNC to help with dialing in on the sizes a little bit on the next few.
Those are so cool. Very cool.
So that's the youngest. He was pretty excited. His older brothers, I think they want one each as well.
Next month, are you going to make a hairpiece to clip on top of that?
There's been several requests for accessories.
Yeah. Very cool. Thanks, Jason. Dave, wood?
Yeah, I'm cleaning out the pile in the first stall. Some of you may have remember. So I found pieces of wood in there that probably been there for some of them 10 years. This was actually, I think this was some of that horse chestnut that is garbage wood for the most part, but it's very interesting. This is obviously spalted, and I had one piece left I didn't even know was there. So it anyway, it's not a great surface finish because you can't really do that with that wood, but I just thought it was interesting. And they're very lightweight, so they're good popcorn bowls, things like that.
Yeah.
This is maple, and I think it's from some stumps that I've had for at least 10 years. Another piece that I found at the bottom of the pile. So just a simple, all of these are about 8 to 10 inches in diameter.
Pretty figure in it though.
Yeah, it turned out really nice. And this is a platter. It's about 14 inches in diameter that, or it's more like a shallow plate, shallow bowl. This is actually from the tree that we got from Northwest Hardwoods to, for the Stuart Batty class. I'm pretty sure there was a big chunk left over that, so I offered to store it. And then since the customer never came to pick it up, I decided it was probably mine. So anyway, it was very, very nice wood to work with. It was this Norwegian maple,
Norwegian maple.
And it cuts just like silk. So it was kind of an interesting pattern.
Yeah.
Same tree, I suppose. This was just had a little more figure in it. This is a bowl. Again, it's around 14 inches and probably 4 or 5 inches deep with a different style, but very nice. This Norwegian maple is just beautiful stuff to cut.
Yeah.
And fairly stable. It doesn't move a lot after you, I always, before I do the final cuts, I take them from the shop into the house, get them all warmed up, because they will shift, change shape a little bit. But this doesn't move much, and then true it up. Seems to work okay.
Gorgeous.
Looks like a topo map.
Yeah.
Topographical map.
Yeah, a little bit. But that was a real nice project.
Yeah.
This was actually a recut. The original bowl was done in 2009 when I first got the lathe and didn't have any idea what I was doing. So the wall thickness was, I don't know, probably an inch. So we found this when we had to pack up to be evacuated during the fires event. This was in the bottom of a cabinet. It went in the box with all the other stuff to go to the storage where it's fireproof. And I'd forgotten all about it. So I pulled it out and recut it. So the wall thickness now is about maybe 3/8 because the wood is not real strong. It's an old piece of walnut from a stump that I bought a dump truck load of stumps, and this is one of those pieces.
Yeah.
And so it finished up nice this time around. So I reissued it, gave it a new serial number, and it actually, my skill level has improved a bit since 2009, so it looks much better.
Nice. And this is beautiful.
Quilted maple, also from that dump truck load, so very dry. And this also was a recut from to make it smooth and chic and stylish, whereas it was pretty clunky before. And this one's about 8 or 9 inches, but yeah, it was very, very pretty wood.
Mm-hmm.
All of these bowls happen because I'm not allowed in the house while school is going on here. So I have to go out to the shop. This one was just 2 or 3. I had 3 different pieces of wood. I think we've talked about this one before. And then the lid. The ash is the lid. The walnut is the trim ring, and then some of that Norway maple for the bowl.
Yeah.
And since that was finished and brought in, that lid has warped, I'll bet, a 1/2 inch.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, it's really, but it's fairly thin. You can actually see light through the lid. So I probably shouldn't have made it quite so thin. And this is, I'm told, also Norway maple. I got a whole tree and they're about dry enough now to start working. They're a year since I got it. This was a tree that obviously had some kind of a disease and died. And it's just beautiful wood. It's very, you don't see it very often where it's almost like a calico.
Yeah.
And again, it cuts just smooth as silk. And that kind of wood makes you look like you know what you're doing.
I think you know what you're doing.
But I have become a disciple of the 40/40 for certain parts of a bowl. I continue to refine that skill set. It's just really works well. And I tried a little beading on this one just to give it some interest. And
yeah,
that's a skill I've got to get much better at. But it's fun just to give it a little something. And those are,
Sorry.
yeah, so I think,
Look-
I don't remember if that's all or not, but yeah,
I think
obviously I have time on my hands.
Those are great, Dave.
But,
Those are really awesome.
But I do absolutely love making bowls. I can't help myself.
No,
I'm not
me
to the
too.
point where I'll sell everything else in the shop except the lathe, but
Yeah.
somebody that was out in the tool trading earlier this week, I said, you know, it's a good thing I didn't find this hobby 30 years earlier, or you wouldn't be able to turn around in here.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. So that's it for me.
Thanks, Dave. Another Dave Burgess, you're up again.
Yeah, these were actually Christmas presents to family. We had a talk, the turning talk, we talked about laminating a little bit. And this is a salt and pepper. The brown wood is sapele with either a maple stripe or a walnut stripe to indicate pepper versus salt. So they're about 8 inches tall. That one went my daughter in Florida. So, and is that the only one you grabbed of that, or are there others?
No, I think I have other ones as well.
Yeah. Yeah, this was one of two. The other one I didn't send you a picture of, but this is walnuts. It's a walnut stripe with a laminated maple. I just had some big leaf maple in sheet form and laminated it to make it. And this is just experimenting with shapes a little bit. So, and the next one is one we actually kept. It was one that was, I drilled just a little too deep on the pepper, so it actually had to be fixed. So that one that didn't get given to anybody. That one we just kept. But they were, it was my first attempt at doing salt and pepper shaker or grinders, and I felt they turned out pretty well. So
yeah, they're great.
So those were Christmas presents, and I also, I saw pens earlier. I did a couple pens. This is one of the pens that I did out of a curly maple. So it's pen.
Almost looks like sycamore.
Yeah, it looks like sycamore, but it's actually a curly maple.
Yeah.
It was part
Very
of that
nice.
a box of stuff I picked up at one of the sales for wood. I think I bought the entire box of 50 of them for like $5 just for the goofball like that.
oh yeah, I remember that one.
So
Nice. And then you also did some bowls.
yeah, this is my first attempt at doing serious set of bowls. This was my wife's Christmas present. It's a set of 6. The small bowls were all turning blanks from one of the non-figured boxes, and the big bowls. It's the biggest thing I've ever turned. That's a 10-inch bowl out of. I wasn't sure what it was. It was one of those pieces of wood that were donated to the club, and at that time I had no wood at all, so I just grabbed it. I think it's probably a maple, but it was hard to tell. So, but it turned out to be reasonably well, and my wife has already used it multiple times, and she's very appreciative.
Nice.
What's your finish on that, Dave?
That's Mike's walnut or bull wax finish.
Very nice. It looks kind of like oak, actually.
That big one may very well be oak.
It'd be heavy if it is.
Yeah. Well, it was the bottom. I didn't get a good picture of it from the bottom because I didn't take it, but the bottom actually the softwood on the outside was a little more spalted, so it wasn't quite as heavy as I would have expected.
Yeah.
So.
The medullary ray structure and if you look on the left side in what would be a quarter sawn piece, that's oak, I'll bet you.
Yeah.
It may very well have been.
Yeah.
Very cool, Dave. Thanks for sharing.
Hey, I'm still learning. You know, the more I do, the more I learn.
Yep.
And doing 6
how it
bowls
is.
at one right after the other got me a lot better with doing bowls.
Yeah, good. Good. All right. Oh, these are mine. So these, I had a big log. I had a neighbor down the street had a red maple that died because of the base was it was binding on itself or something. So he asked me if I wanted any of it. And I said I wanted the whole log from the base to where it first to where it spreads out and forms a crotch. So I had that in my driveway for about a year or two, covered, but still got wet and cold and warm, and it did this amazing spalting on it. And I love what it's done, and it really pretty stuff. And this is another one that I didn't put much finish on this one, just to kind of show you what it looked like. And I'm working on shapes and forms and that kind of stuff. And then this was a piece of crappy something. It might even have been that same red maple, but it was pretty punky. And so I just decided I was going to turn it really thin, and then I put a light in it. So you can kind of go back and forth between. Beep. Anyway, so that's it. I actually have 2 more. This was just another little piece of maple burl that I had, and I wanted to just, again, try a different form and try to do a little painting, acrylic painting on the inside, and that was that. Yeah, that's that. And this was the bowl that, this was one of the bowls that I did when I was demoing at the bowl basics class. And it was just a regular bowl, and I thought, I brought it home and I was like, I want to do something a little different. So I just decided I was going to try to carve something on it for the first time. And so I just, took a Dremel and started cutting it out like that. And I think it turned out pretty nice. And then I bleached it, obviously, with the 2-part wood bleach. And that's it.
Great.
I sent you a couple, Bill. Do you have those?
Oh shoot! No, I
Yeah, we did. We already done
Candle
those.
stands?
The candlesticks I got you. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Was that a different category or something?
Well, I had those. You know what? I had those in
the
I've already seen them on the screen on the left earlier when you were first started.
Yeah, that was, he had them in the presents category.
Here we go.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah, they were earlier.
In there.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, I joined the meeting late, so.
Yeah,
That's okay.
we had all your candlesticks and stuff.
Yeah,
And we appreciated them, but you weren't here to appreciate our comments.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is that when I don't have to get up and drive to the meeting, I have trouble remembering the 7 o'clock starts. I don't know what it is. I got to set an alarm from now on.
Yeah.
We're just glad to see you, Mike.
Well, I'm glad to be seen.
Okay, great. By the way, that last bowl build, you didn't demo it. You taught the class. Just so everyone knows you taught.
Yeah, you taught it to us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Taught it to you.
So the demo for today is chainsaws, and Mike and I did this back in June, and it's coming up here. Share screen. Everybody see it?
Yep.
Yep.
Today we're going to talk a little bit about chainsaw maintenance and also about probably the most challenging issue about having and using a chainsaw.